So this is take 2 of this video. I filmed it in portrait and I did not know that when you flip it to portrait it has these 2 annoying black squares on the outside. Welcome to Skincare 101. This is your basic skincare class. But first, a disclaimer, I am not a professional. I'm just someone that suffered from extreme acne. I know a lot about skin, kind of work for a skincare brand, but like I'm still not a professional at all. So if you do need professional help, I can direct you to some amazing professionals, but I am not a professional myself. So this is the most basic skincare that I will probably go into, unless you like ask me a direct question. Yeah, so let's start. Skincare 101. So for me, that's like having a good foundation, having a great basic skincare routine that you can build upon. And for me, I feel like your skincare foundation should be something that cleanses, hydrates, moisturizes and protects. So let's start with the first bit, which is cleansing. So for me, cleansing is a 2-step thing, sometimes 3 steps depending on if I've worn makeup or not. And that can be either an oil or a balm cleanse. For me, I personally prefer a balm cleanse. However, it's been a little bit annoying to find like amazing balms, and the balm that I've got right now is absolutely phenomenal. It's from Deviant Skincare and it's called the Cleansing Concentrate. It's amazing. It's on the higher end side of things, and I will try and find some like cheaper alternatives to recommend to you guys that are just starting out. So I balm cleanse, and the reason that I don't do oil cleansing is just because I find oil a bit too how do we say this without making me sound like I'm clumsy? There's like no way. I'm just very clumsy. I will spill it everywhere, and I like clean up. No, let's minimize that. So what I tend to do for my balm cleansing, on a dry face I'll put a bit on and make sure that I'm cleansing thoroughly. And you can do this in a way that is sort of relaxing for you, so you're not spending too much time just doing like a load of faff for no reason, if that makes sense. Like some people don't like to spend a lot of time on skincare, but you can turn this into self-care and it can actually be a really amazing and like sensual experience. So for me, when I balm cleanse, I will do this as a first step on no makeup, and I will do this at night. So this will help take off all your SPF, all the gunk, all the pollution stuff. I would not recommend oil cleansing in the morning. This is just for the night time. So you see, like just making sure that you know when to use certain bits. Once you've oil cleansed, you would then move on to a gel cleanser. But I'm just going to briefly pause and go back. If you're wearing makeup, please, 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 please use an oil or a balm to remove it. And when you've done that, that is makeup removal. That is not really cleansing. So I would then follow that up again with a little bit of the balm cleanser. But when you use oil or a balm, it breaks down the makeup so well. Like mascara, phenomenal. And that's for waterproof mascara and for regular mascara as well. So moving on to your gel cleanser, and this is your gel water-based cleanser, and this is your second step of cleansing. And for me, it's the cheapest part of my routine, and I think that should be the case because you only really leave it on your face for about 60 seconds, and that's after like fully massaging everything in. It's not necessary for you to spend so much money on this step because you really do just wash it down the drain. Pick a cleanser that's going to leave your skin feeling soft, supple, not stripped. And also, I wouldn't say that you should look for a cleanser with all the actives in it because like I said before, it's only on your face for 60 seconds. And this will be the part that's like really cleansing your face, for me anyway. And at this point, you should, if you were to, I'm not ever recommending this, after you finish this cleansing step, if you were to get a wipe or a cotton pad to check your face, nothing should come off the cotton pad at all. And I feel like I've seen a couple of videos where people use a gel-based cleanser and there's still residue of makeup on their face. To me, that just shows that you have not actually done the whole cleansing steps properly. And that usually is because people use wipes. And I've said things about wipes before. They're really bad for the environment and they're just really bad for your skin. You're tugging, you're pulling. It doesn't get everything off. It's not necessary. Please, please, please pick a balm cleanser. I feel like they last longer as well because for my face anyway, I have a really big face, so I feel like I have to use quite a few wipes like when I did back in the day, but now I'm educated. So your second step cleanse should be the cheapest part, like I said, and that is like the bit that's really getting any lost remaining bits off. Now onto the locking in hydration step. Now for me, I don't use a lot of hyaluronic acid in my routine, but I do try to use a small amount. And the amount that I use is fairly small because I do use it in the form of a mist. And the mist that I use is a Glow Recipe watermelon mist. You've probably seen it on my Instagram. Just one of those mists that's like super duper fine. It comes out perfectly. It doesn't make you feel like you're being slapped with droplets of water for no like bloody reason. It's really good. I highly recommend it, especially for people that don't want to use too much hyaluronic acid in their routine, because I know, like, I've seen a couple of things recently where people are sensitive to hyaluronic acid. I am not. I just feel like my skin doesn't need loads and loads. So what I will do is, whilst my face is still damp, I will then spray my hyaluronic acid containing mist and then leave that for maybe 1 or 2 minutes, and then I'll move on to my moisturizing step. But just before that, I just want to make this so apparent. Please do not put hyaluronic acid on a dry face. I think a lot of people are confusing setting mist these days with like hydrating mist or something that has hyaluronic acid in the formula. I would say that if you're looking for something that feels like really wet, you're just adding like extra water essentially to your face, look for something that's like basically rose water and water. Evian does like a spray water if that's what you want, like a refreshing mist with water. But if you want something containing hyaluronic acid, I would highly recommend the one from Glow Recipe. And also I will leave all the recommended products in the description down below. Moisturizing. I don't spend a lot on my moisturizer, and it's because I do spend a lot of money on my acids. However, you can spend a bit more on your moisturizer just because it's on your face for the whole day, basically. Use it. For some people, they don't need a nighttime moisturizer, and that was me for a long time until my needs and my skin kind of changed. And also just make sure that you're always checking in with your skin to see if it still needs the same things. So the moisturizer that I use is from CeraVe. It's really good. It's the moisturizing lotion, very simple, very basic. I think it's the same price as the cleanser. You get a lot in there, you can use enough. So after I've locked in the hydration with my hyaluronic acid spray, I would then go into the moisturizer, and that moisturizer I tend to apply like a medium coating to my whole entire face, bringing it down to my neck in this area. This is all your face. Treat it accordingly, also known as the same. This, if you want this to all like look similar in color, blend really nicely, treat everything the same. Also the skin here, it's really delicate. The next step would be protection. Now, I feel like if you aren't using SPF, you need to first of all ask yourself why. Is it because you can't find an SPF that's not going to turn you ashy, or is it because you're just lazy and you just don't want to add any more steps to your routine? I think you need to realize that the sun is there all the time. You need to wear SPF all the time, because if you see daylight, just know daylight is seeing you too. So you need to make sure that you're protected from that daylight from the sun. Anytime like the sun comes up, as you say, in the morning, or whenever, even if it's late at night and it's still bright, please make sure to wear SPF, because SPF stops you from burning, stops like the age spots coming, stops hyperpigmentation getting darker, protects you from the sun. I highly recommend. And I would say that if you aren't using SPF, there's like no point of the rest of your skincare. You might as well just throw everything in the bin. And for me, I've seen like a massive difference since I've been more proactive with my SPF. If you're struggling to find SPF, I will do a few swatches in another video for all skin types. And for me, I did struggle at first finding SPFs. I did try. So in the UK, our like drugstore thing is Boots and Superdrug, and let me just tell you, the ones that are available there are not that fab. However, they have one from La Roche-Posay. It's called, I think it's called Anthelios, which is SPF 50. It's amazing, it's really good, but that is just an SPF. That is not like a moisturizer, it's just an SPF. It's quite drying, but it's perfect underneath makeup. That's like the best one that I found. So for SPF, I would say that you should wear nothing below SPF SPF 30, and SPF 30 is for your like everyday, it's like mild weather. When you go outside and it's like a lot sunnier, it's like summer for example, I would say you need SPF 50. And for me personally, I've always stuck to SPF 40, apart from when I'm using my Glossier, which I really like. That's more so my everyday one. And SPF 50, I tend to use those the most, but I never ever dip below SPF 30, and neither should you. Trust me, it will make a massive difference to your life. And also, if you are darker skin like me, or anyone that suffers from hyperpigmentation around the mouth, the lips, I would highly suggest you get a lip balm that contains an SPF. This will help with any of the darkening around those areas. I would recommend the ones that I use, which are really great. So I use the Supergoop Daily Moisturizer. Daily Moisturizer, which is SPF 50. No, I'm lying, it's SPF 40. The Anthelios, which is SPF 50. I've got the Invisible Shield from Glossier, which is SPF 30. I've got a few more bits from Supergoop, which range from SPF 40 to 50 as well. They are amazing. I feel like if you're struggling to find an SPF, those are really good bets, especially if it's because you don't want to look purple or ashy. SPFs come in two forms. They can be physical or they can be chemical. Chemical SPFs tend to be fine on darker skins, whereas physical ones tend to turn you that ashy grey tone. And I'll give you an example, the famous Nivea one that's all over Superdrug and Boots. It's like blue and then it has the orange lid. It's the most disgusting SPF that I've ever used, and I absolutely hate it. I'm pretty sure that one's the zinc one. Yeah, I haven't used it for such a long time because I've moved on to greener pastures. Yep, so now that we've covered SPF, I would say that overall SPF and cleansing to me feel like the most important steps. However, the whole thing that I laid out today is extremely important. I'm going to give you a quick overview of all of the steps. So you've got cleansing, which is your first cleanse, second cleanse. Then you've got your lock-in hydration. After that, you've got moisturizing, and then you've got your SPF. Now this is the foundation. This might be great for somebody to have as their actual routine, and that could be because maybe you're taking Accutane and you don't need to do too much to your skin. Maybe you've got amazing skin and you don't need to do anything else. But for me, I do like to put more acids in there. I like to mix other things in there, toners, essence. But you need to make sure that you've got your foundation on lock. And when you've got it on lock, then you can add more things. You've got more room to play around because you know that you've got your basics really secured. And I just want to put something out there that I do use products that do contain fragrance, and that's because I do not have a fragrance allergy. However, if you have a fragrance allergy, I would highly recommend the brand CeraVe because they do a lot of stuff that's fragrance free. Now, you don't have to bash a product just because it contains fragrance. I personally don't, and you'll never see me do that on my channel or my Instagram blog. I just feel like I would avoid it if I'm using really heavy duty acids like P50 or something like really intensely resurfacing, just because I want to limit the chance of me having a reaction. It's okay to use fragrance, but like I said, just make sure that you're the right candidate. You always need to remember it's about your skin. Everyone's on their individual skincare journey. My skin is not the same as your skin. All I'm here to do is help you on that journey, nurture you on that journey. We are in this together and we will get there. Whatever your skincare goal is, we will get there, and you'll find some amazing tips on my blog and through my videos. This is Skincare 101, and if you have any questions, just feel free to ask, but do check out my blog because I do have a lot of information on there. Yes, this was Skincare 101. If you have any questions, just feel free to ask.